Welcome to Be Brave Feminism Movie Review. Today I invite my friend Jack.
Hi.
And Bruce.
Hi.
To discuss the movie Mad Max Fury Road with me. If you are interested in Mel's view in feminism movie Mad Max Fury Road, please keep watching. Mad Max Fury Road is a movie came out in 2015 and is directed by George Miller. It is a post-apocalyptic action film. The plot is really simple. Max is captured by war boy who are commanded by Immortan Joe, and Immortan Joe control everyone here, and he regards those people are his property in a world where there is lack of water and other resources. Joe trusts Emperor Furiosa, and he allows Furiosa to transfer the gasoline for him. But Furiosa flee from tyrannical Joe and with Joe's wives. And Max and Furiosa help each other on the way they escaped. Basically, this movie is a 2-hour track chasing action movie. So overall, I think it's really a successful action movie and really have a lot of feminism scene in this movie. And what do you guys think about this movie overall?
So actually I really like this movie. It is a typical science fiction movie, and this film generally depicts the future about like 50 years later, and the whole world is running out of energy resources. People at that time are fighting for their food, their water, and gasoline, but most importantly, their freedom.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this movie has really simple plots, but you don't feel it is too much action and makes the film becomes boring.
Yeah, it's really concise. Like there is 2 hours for one simple plot, but you don't really want to fast forward it.
And this movie came out in 2015, but you don't feel the special effects are bad even if you watch it now.
Yeah, also this movie is the 4th episode of Mad Max series, but it stands perfectly alone, and you don't necessarily feel like you need to watch the previous episode of this movie to enjoy this whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen like the past 3 movie, but I do really enjoy this movie, and I think you can totally understand the plot and the characters in this movie. Have you guys feel the feminism aspect of this movie?
So in the beginning of this movie, women are only for producing mother milk and give birth to Joe. But they are not fully controlled by Joe, and another female character, Furiosa, helped them to escape from him. Men and women are playing as completely different characters in this movie, and each character has its own responsibility and duty individually.
Yeah. This is really the first action movie I did the movie review. Before, I do think a lot of Hollywood action movie really puts a feminism scene deliberately in this movie, which in those movies, but not really flow well. And I do think I see a balance in this movie in the male and female characters.
Yes, I don't like how they intentionally put all the female heroes in the together in the Avengers, the end games. I don't think it flows well, and it's very awkward to put all the females together to show they're stronger than men.
Yeah, I feel like many Hollywood movies they just want to show the strong female character by showing how they are better than men or putting down like beating the man. But I don't really think this is a gender equality and a nice feminism scene. But I do think this movie do really good job in balancing between the male power and female power.
Also, I really like the part about how the director deals with Joe's wife scene. They actually are sex slaves instead of his wives. It is definitely about Joe not treating his wives as people, but his properties. The director didn't use violent scene to show this, but only one scene about the chastity law can explain most part of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there's a lot of movie that using the rape scene as a really plot to attract people's attention, but in this movie, the character didn't use that.
Yeah, and I extremely like the end of this movie. I thought Max and Fiosa might fall in love with each other, but actually there's no relationship between them.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of movie, like eventually anyways, a love relationship between the male and the female character. But in this movie, they really like fight with like friends, but they don't necessarily need the love story to connect these two characters. And another point, I feel this movie is more successful comparing to other action movies that their female characters are really different. The female characters are portrayed in different ways. Many other Hollywood movies, they usually showing the strong woman by showing the women are just like men, they are like the fighters. But this movie, they have really different characters in this movie.
Yeah, I do think so. So, for example, in this movie, like Fiosa and Joe's wives, they all have their own perspectives. They all have their own point of views.
Yeah, I feel like, and all of them are really thoughtful, and they have their own missions or their own responsibility and what they want to do. Is there anything you guys don't like about this movie?
Yeah, I think one thing I don't like about this movie is that except for Max, all of the men in this movie seems to be too mindless and stupid. I think this movie you can't make the men stupid to show how women are strong enough.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of weird and imbalanced in this part because if Joe just brainwash all of the people, why women are really clear, but all the war boy are really devote their life to Joe. So I do feel this part can be a little bit better.
Yeah, I also feel like this movie, all the women characters, they are always really thoughtful and has a clear mind always, but not for every man. So I think if this movie has more about how the men can do the right things, that might be greater.
Yeah, I think they can do better and more balance in this movie at this part. What do you guys think as a male to see this kind of feminism movie?
I think this movie is acceptable because there's no deliberate thing to show the strength of the women. So unlike what they did in Avengers, in this movie they didn't put women or men together. They just make the man and the woman cooperate to defeat the enemies.
Yeah, I also think the feminism in this movie is totally acceptable. Although women and men are different, but I think this movie doesn't just emphasize or exaggerate how women are great, but also shows how men and women can work together and cooperate with each other.
Yeah, I feel like this movie really blends feminism in this action film, and all of them are really natural and it's really acceptable, and none of the scenes seems really awkward. So I do think this is a great feminism movie and I would recommend to see. Thanks so much for Jack and Bruce joining me today to discuss this movie. If you would like to see more feminism movie, please visit BeBraveFeminismMovieReview.wordpress.com and don't forget to follow the Twitter. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.